Good evening, gentlemen, and welcome to Daytona International Speedway. I'm Mean G Money, the voice of MRL. My tag team partner tonight, Zach Panzarella, KK, Kevin Kyle in the pits, running our production, giving you all the behind-the-scenes action. And ladies and gentlemen, do we have a barn burner for you tonight? This is race 4 of our 10-race regular season for Monday Night Mayhem. That's right, a 10-race regular season. Win and you're in. Top 12 racers will then face off in a race for the chase to find out who is our champion. Tonight, we are here at Daytona. Zach, what are we looking for tonight on this monster-sized track?
We're looking for smart moves, quick decisions, and survival attrition. That is how you win these mayhem races at Daytona. These things are crazy, and with 80 laps today, which sounds like not too many, but trust me, is quite a few, it is going to be a war all day, and we have one of our biggest fields, if not the biggest cut field of this season, which is, if I could choose one track to put that at, it would be here at Daytona, so I couldn't be more excited, me and Gene.
25 competitors today will be vying for that ever-coveted spot in victory lane that will guarantee their position in that 12-man chase at the end. But so far, Zach, 3 men have already claimed that ring of destiny to move forward. Kenneth Reniger, Tony Iverson, and Jax Duvall, Florida man. These 3 men are ready to move up, and they're also up at the top of our leaderboard. Who of those 3, or maybe you've got a dark horse that you've got your eye on, Zach?
Well, the fun thing about Daytona is that anybody in this field of 25 can win this race. We've seen some dominant drivers this year. Tony Iverson has been great. Jax Duvall has been fantastic. We've seen Redinger get his first win last week. But today is anyone's to take. That is what's so much fun about Daytona. This track makes the playing field as even as it's going to be all season. And it's going to be fun for everyone here. So I really don't have a favorite here. While you will find some people who are better at this style of racing than others, it's still anyone's game. So I'm going to go ahead and say my early easy favorite is David Owens, the guy who led the most laps here last season and also had the fastest lap and also had the best speed rating. I'm going to go with my dark horse. Let me say either Jose Medina, who is a rookie in his first race of the season, or Kevin Brower, a constant guy in this series who's always at speed at these type of tracks.
I like hearing those names. Tony Iverson, he really has been the dominator, leading so many laps so far throughout our 3 races. And he had victory snatched from him by Jax Duvall in that week 1 showdown at Charlotte when Iverson forced to come in for fuel and Duvall managed to make it work the entire time. Iverson got his revenge the very next week at Dover, and then week 3 Kansas, Iverson, he got caught up early, and that allowed Kenneth Redinger to almost run away with that race. Smooth move by Kenneth Redinger, and that victory, along with his consistent performances, makes Kenneth Redinger our series leader. Directly behind him, Tony Iverson. Jay Stinson, that's a name we hope to see tonight. He's in 3rd, Jax Duvall 4th, and David Owens, the aforementioned Zero Chill himself. That rounds off your top 5. Looking a little bit further down, 12 drivers will make it into that chase. And right now, the 88 of Steve Lewis has a grip on that, but directly behind him, Matt Novella. You know, Zach, Matt's had some bad luck, but I hear he had a little bit of maybe a slump buster go on Thursday night.
Yes, he did. Matt Novella, ever the master at Dover, showed again why he's the best in all of Amarillo at that track, especially in the long run. Just completely, honestly, killing me on the long run, and everyone else in the field. We had nothing for Novella, and I think that was the boost he needed, the momentum he needed to become the dangerous driver that we know he is, and to start rattling off the wins like we saw him do late last season. That was a dangerous time. And you're right, we are seeing a lot of close times in qualifying. And if there's one thing I don't know much about here, it's how to qualify well. What I like to do with these races is not qualify and let the race come to me and usually kind of buy my time and attack at the end. It's worked for me, but I know other people like to do it other ways. Some guys like to go for the pole, and they have their own strategies. We actually have someone in the booth with us right now who knows how to do that. Our very own producer, Kevin Kyle, was the defending pole winner of this race last season. So Kevin, what's your secret?
Well, Zach, thanks for having me on. And if there's one thing I know about most is about poles, and defending poles is my specialty. Unfortunately, I'm not able to throw my hat in the ring tonight. But yeah, man, I really love super speedway racing, and qualifying is really fun to me. I think that first out lap is your first money maker. You need to stay on the outside lane. grab as much momentum as you can, and going into turn 3 and 4, stay high in the banks, and then just smooth as you can on the wheel. And that first lap's got to be the money lap. Usually is the money lap, so you got to be real focused on that, and just not scrubbing the tires coming out of the turns, and just being as smooth as you can.
Well, I'm unfamiliar myself with the pole position. I'm more of a North Pole guy myself. Come Christmas, don't forget, Christmas is coming soon, folks. Get your shopping in. But I got to ask you, KK, does that translate to the race, that running the top line? How many cars can successfully draft on that top line until you start to see that wiggle effect, that whiplash affecting those back cars? Can that top line sustain? I mean, we're looking at 25 competitors tonight. Can we go side by side, 12 deep on that top lane?
I think you can for sure. The top lane usually works really well, but it's all about who the first 3 cars are. You know, the third car needs to be able to get to the back bumper of the second car, so then that second car can push effectively. That's what it's all about. So it's not more about can it, it's more about it can't. I mean, it's more about who can do it, not can it work. But the top line usually works, and then that top line driver usually clears the lower line and then drops in front of them, and it's just the cycles like that throughout the day. So I think it's going to work out just fine.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Zach, you're also a competitor many times here at Daytona. Do you have a preference in a perfect world? Are you in position 1 on the top, or are you on the catbird seat maybe in second, pushing somebody ready to make a move?
So here's the downside to being a broadcaster. Me, Gene, is about to give the whole truck field my secrets. How I sometimes win these things. I haven't won an Amarillo yet, but I've won one in other leagues, and I've gotten lucky in other ones. I have a strategy where I go to the bottom lane and I refuse to leave. I believe that a lot of mistakes are made from bold moves, and I don't have the belief in myself to make those bold moves and not take out the rest of the field with me, to be entirely honest. However, I like what I'm able to do in the bottom, and I like making friends throughout the race. And that's something that we're going to be talking about a lot today. A lot of these guys, while they've raced together in the past a lot, they're also new to each other. So they're going to want to make friends early in this race. Who can you trust? Who can you not trust? Whose pushes do you like? Whose pushes sketch you out? Who pushes you in parts of the track that you're not comfortable with? That is so important at tracks like that. And that's honestly what I spend the first, I want to say 75% of this race doing, is telling people that you can trust me, and also finding out who I can trust.
Well, there's a guy right there putting his hat in the ring. Jonathan Quesabir talking about 4 of his 5 wins are here at these super speedways. So maybe that's an advertisement of, hey, work with me, I can bring you to the front. But it also might be a significance of who am I going to dump on that last couple of laps and leave behind, and it might be that winner. Talking about confidence, that's something we got to look at. Matt Novella didn't have that confidence, and we saw him driving apprehensively. But now, after that Thursday win, I'm really expecting him to stick his nose in there. There's a lot of guys tonight we can expect to do that. Look up at the top of that pole list. He's the series leader. He won last week, and he's back on top. Kenneth Redinger leading him right now off of pit row as we see the cars starting to take the track. Jay Stinson, he is your second place car. He'll be on the top row, the front row with him. David Cook, that is a fast man. We've seen him lead a lot of laps. Jax Duvall, that is your top 3 rows.
And let's talk about the top 3 guys. While I did lead off this broadcast talking about how this is anyone's game, there are still people who are very good at this, and they know to stay up front. And what do you know? It's 3 dudes in the top 5 of our standings. This is the heavy hitters up front right away, wanting to control this race. It is riskier really in the middle of the field here. The back, you can kind of control it. You can kind of keep your pace behind, but in the front, you can really feel like you can control your destiny because it's less cars in front of you. Let's also talk about Matt Novella real quick since you brought him up. He is the first of our cars not to qualify. So I would not expect to see Matt Novella maybe try to sneak some stage points as we get to the midpoint of this race if it works out strategy-wise. But I don't think we'll be seeing Matt Novella, John Beverly, Mason Smalley, or Brandon Garand until later in this race. I think they're playing the long game, avoiding any incidents early, avoiding using that fast repair early, and going to try to keep their car healthy for when it matters at the end.
You mentioned John Beverly. He was the winner last year at Daytona, so he does know how to pilot that car up to the front, but he's going to have to drive it through 24 other competitors this evening until he can find that land of unbridled optimism. Other guys in the back, Austin Merrow, he was your slowest qualifier, but he was one of your biggest jumpers in points. Really consistent runs by Merrow. Don't expect to see that car in the back for very long. Other cars in the back we might want to keep an eye on. Joe Vulpes in the 07. He's going to be starting back in that 15th position. He's looking for a smooth run. I'd like your man, Funky Cole Medina. He's starting in 12th. And then Case of Beer 10th, Iverson 9th. Pace cars coming off, Zach. Looks like we're getting ready to go racing here at Daytona International. They're coming around turn 4. Bottoms up, hammers down. We are green as Kenneth Redinger is going to lead him across that start-finish line, and we are moving here at Daytona.
Here we go, green flag at the high banks, and Jax Duvall wasting no time giving the hard pushes right in front of the Jay Stinson. That top line wasted no time. It looks like the bottom already somewhat dominant with far more cars there. The top not wanting to give up. We'll see if they get around this corner.
What do you think's happening there? Do you think that these guys are being cautious riding on the bottom? They look, even the leaders cutting down to the bottom. A lot of shuffling going on, but that's going to allow cars to push up. Look at that 16 pushing his way up into second place already. 24 bump drafting about as hard as you can and still get away with it. Looks like Jay Stinson on the inside has now taken over the lead.
Awesome move by Stinson at the first chance he gets, just like you said, right down to the bottom. Clearly they found something in practice. Maybe they did a few big pack runs and they found that the top just was not going to work maybe in this early in the run, because that was definitely an intentional move. Stinson wanted to be in the bottom, and look who else did, our new leader, the 84, Jax Duvall.
He is pushing hard, Florida man, never afraid to make an aggressive move, because he will reap the rewards as that checkered flag finish that he received early in the year proves. Another car pushing hard in there. You can see that 32 of Bobby Dodson. He would love to make himself a player in this game. The 84 car as well, that Goldfish car, pushing hard. And look up front as the 18 gets that hard push, and he's trying to keep it on the track. Justin Parham, your leader.
Man, the lead has already changed 3 times, and I just saw something really interesting in the middle of the pack. The 920 just got one of the most enormous runs. Aaron Epsy, he was, I'm not kidding me and Gene, he was at least 10 cars back, and he closed that gap within maybe 2 seconds. And that was in the top line. So the top line, not as bad as we thought initially. I mean, it's only been a lap. But also, oh my goodness, that run was massive. That could be a sign of things to come. If the cars get too stretched out, we could see massive runs. Watch the 920 right now. We're about to see another big run from him. The middle of the pack has to watch that. That's going to be not very fun for them to manage.
No, if these guys start accordioning up, you could easily see a car 3 or 4 back of that initial bottleneck become a victim. But right now you can see side-by-side racing. These guys are too deep all the way back. That outside line has become much more attractive. All 25 cars still in that same lead group as we continue to see this hard racing here on MLR Broadcasting. Monday Mayhem, look at the moves. 18 cuts down under to take the lead back from Bobby Dodson. I can't even count how many lead changes there's been without taking off my shoes.
Yeah, and we have to memorize all these new numbers, because let's congratulate all these guys who were 900s last race. Oh man, these runs are... Oh, that push was huge on the Dodson from Stinson there. That was, I'm sorry, from Iverson, of course. Iverson already up front. But this is already moving and shaking up so quickly. Let's take a look at our pole sitter. Redinger already down to 9th. That dude has not done anything wrong. He's been getting shuffled out. It is so intense. These guys do not want to wait. We were only a few laps into this thing, and we've already seen cars move up 9 spots, cars move down 9 spots. Huge pushes for the lead, huge bumps. These guys are not waiting, and I mean, from what we've seen this season, should we expect anything different?
No, not at all. But I'll tell you one little surprise story I'm seeing is the 11 of David Owens somehow lost that lead group. He finds himself out there, the lonely minnow, hoping he doesn't run into a shark. Right now, David Owens, he's 5th in points. He's won championships in the past, but he is that lone wolf running far behind the lead group. David Owens needs a miracle or a partner so he can catch up back to that lead group. You don't want to fall off here, Zach.
Not just that, I believe I'm seeing Owens. Oh, he is in the lead lap. I apologize. New interface here. But yeah, you're right. You do not want to lose that lead group. And I've found, especially, I don't run these next gens often, but when I do run them, it's the Daytona 500. So I get about 4 hours in this thing. And it's easier to lose the draft in the next gen than any other older car I've raced, at least. These things are powerful, but they also seem to lose the draft really easily. Not like a truck, not like an Xfinity car. So you got to be so careful about that. It could be not even an incident that caused Owens to lose the draft there. It could just be thinking 2 seconds, a second half is enough, and before you know it, the pack is driving away from you, and there's nothing you can do.
Unfortunate turn of events for Owens. Perhaps he can make something up. Remember, there is no stage break. Now, yes, at lap 40, they will see who's in the lead. That person will get points, but there's no caution. There are no scheduled cautions. If this thing runs green, they're going to put those 80s laps in, get 2 pit stops just to get gas, and David Owens might never even have a chance to catch up to this lead group.
No, despite these boys trying their best to make sure we get a caution, we are not guaranteed any in this race. Not at the stage break, not at any point. So that could be fatal to your race. And it really depends on how long this green flag run goes. Because if it goes too long, the time difference on laps is typically about 2 to 3 seconds. I'll give you guys an exact number soon. But it's never good. And the pack catches you so quick that you typically can't even catch back up to the rear of it. The speed differential is too great, and you lose the pack again. So hopefully David Owens is able to catch a caution.
But yeah, you're exactly right. He's looking at losing 2 seconds a lap. That last lap, Bobby Dodson on the inside lane, one of the leaders, he ran a 47.1, whereas David Owens ran a 49.9. So that's really 2.8 seconds that he's losing every lap. So he really needs a turn of events if he thinks he's going to get back in this thing. And no sooner do I say Bobby Dodson's on the inside in the lead than we see yet another pass. And that looks like Tony Iverson now, his first time to lead here today at Daytona. The 13 of Tony Iverson in the lead, and he is going up and down that track as he's got Cook and Dodson and Michael Mata also starting to come into this picture, running right behind David Cook on that outside lane.
Tony Iverson still having a stranglehold on the rest of this league. Came into here still holding that 4 times laps led advantage. 194 laps led for him. The next up is Solly, with 44. So just incredible dominance by Tony Iverson, and he's just showing that. Man, I really thought, I thought when we got to a track like Daytona, everyone else would have a chance. But Iverson's like, nah, I'm here to crush your dreams within 10 laps. This guy is just so impressive.
He has been the dominator so far. You mentioned earlier, Buddy Sully. He is one of the faster runners. I do not believe he's in the field tonight, so that is going to knock him his chances of those points. Right now,
16 splits the middle, 16 splits the middle. We got 3 wide.
This is where it gets dangerous. David Cook on the outside finds himself odd man out. Can he get back in? How patient will he be to do that? Because you know these other drivers are just not going to let him in easily.
Yeah, that was
an accordion.
That was an interesting move. The 16, Amata, with an aggressive move. He was willing to go 3 wide middle. He didn't care if Cook found help on the top. He was saying, I'm going 3 wide middle, and I'll figure it out from there. And Cook went top, and nobody went with him. And wow. As you saw there, SB.
A lot of wiggling. And you can see also he is going to get pushed all the way back as suddenly
we got trouble. SB into like Stinson, and Parham barely avoids it. That was
the 71 of Cook involved as well. That is some of your race leaders and some of your top people involved in that accident. We're going to go back and take a look at that.
Yes, we will.
Well, no sooner does that man get caught outside in that imaginary third lane, then suddenly he tries to get back in. The other competitor will not let him in, and we just see activity. Let's take a look right here.
It's exactly like you just said, trying to close a hole that just simply wasn't there. And what I was going to say before that happened that's interesting is these guys up front are willing to go 3 wide, but it looks like the rest of the field is not interested. Am I right? Like that someone peaks up top and they're like, yeah, you have fun with that. And then they just stay 2 wide and someone just gets sucked to the back. And that was like a product of that.
Other cars. Oh, unfortunateness right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars look like they were involved. There's that 07. You can see Joe Volpis getting caught up in this, trying to avoid other competitors. That's Jay Stinson in the 2. You didn't want to see him involved in that.
No, Stinson's so strong in their early running. Let's watch Volpis. Did he just avoid this thing? If he did, he deserves it. Because he's been through so much the past 3 races. Let's see what Volpis does here.
So you can see the 57 of Garin, the 1 of
and so here comes the checkup.
Everly. There's the 7 of Volpis.
And woo, here we go.
Check up. They separate.
Medina with a little.
No.
Oh, and Jax gives him a little touch. But
and the 57 he tried to cut down, and he just rear-ended. Garin rear-ends the car in front of him.
If you're gonna get hit somewhere by a next gen or on a next gen, that's where you want to get hit. right there, right in the driver's
Yeah,
side door.
not
It's
too
honestly not
bad.
that bad. He should
No,
be
it
okay.
wasn't. But the 84 definitely going to take some serious pain out of that contact from
Yeah.
Garan in the back.
If there's anywhere you don't want to hit it next gen, it's the front of the car, and that's where Jax hit. Oh, and we have contact in pit row between Jax and looks like the 927. So it didn't look too bad, and it was again the front end of Jax, so maybe a lost cause anyway. But quite a few cars pitting. Looks like Volpa's pitting to check that damage, and he came out quick, so that's a good sign for him. Typically meaning that either, well, hopefully he didn't have to use that fast repair, and the damage wasn't that bad. But
So
like
we
you
see
said, lots of cars.
Is that the big one, or will there be more to come? We'll have to see as they make use of their one single quick repair, or perhaps it'll be sledgehammers and duct tape, kiss on the bottom and put it right back on the track. And we'll just see once they bunch back up how many cars of this 25-man field can stay together. The person who definitely benefited from that the most is going to be the 11 of David Owens. Can he get whatever issue he had settled and stick with that lead group? As we look down, I'm seeing the 26 of Mason Smalley. Looks like he was a lap down. Hopefully that's just he stayed in the pit extra and he'll zip around this track and get caught back up.
Yeah, that's huge for Owens. He probably had maybe 8 laps left until he was put a lap down there, so that was definitely saved by the bell for him. He could reset, start over. Looks like almost the whole field pit there as well, me and Gene. I'm assuming to top off fuel. This race becomes very strategy focused as you get more and more yellow flags. I'm assuming a lot of people not wanting to get caught later in this run, or maybe enough fuel right there to get you to the end of the stage. I believe with what Owens told us before the race, that's probably what we just saw. So
Yeah, we
these guys
spoke
are going to
earlier.
try to go.
Spoke earlier. David Owens said that the lead car could run about 40 green flag laps wide open. If you're behind, kind of dragging along, I guess you could say, you might fit a few other extra laps out of that thing.
Looks
I'm
like
sorry, 30 laps.
Yeah, 30. So that gives us your extra 10. Looks like Volpa's coming back in, probably for more damage repair. So likely confirming that he did not use that fast repair. Be interesting to see, and we'll find out, I'm sure, with the next wreck. And you thinking that's the big one, Mean Gene? That's cute. We're gonna get much worse than that.
And Volpus, he is in there for some extended. You can see a lot of cars now pulling in there for some extended. David Owens overshoots his pit and is forced to back in. That is lost time that could have been used repairing the car. Owens back out again quickly. Maybe he was just doing a little splash and go. That way he can push his way to the end of this first 40 laps.
Yeah, these guys top it up on fuel, so less time next time they have to go in the pit. Saves them some extra time because track position should be gained any way possible this track. So smart move by Owens. And one thing that we will have to look out for too is, yeah, the overshooting of the pit boxes. This has the fastest pit road speed of any track to my knowledge, if not just tied with Talladega. And it kind of sneaks up on you because no matter what, it still feels slow, right? You've been going 200 all race and all of a sudden you're going 55. Feels slow, but it's a lot faster than the 45, 35 you're used to at other tracks, and it makes it very easy to miss your box here. So we'll be looking out for that. So I did see a few miss it. So the top two in here did not pit, the 921 and the 920. Larry Johnson and Aaron Espy. I believe Espy was in that accident too, so interesting he didn't pit. But yeah, looks like those two did not pit, so they assumed the lead of the race. Tire's not super important here, but if they're important at all, we're about to find out.
And you can see right behind them, you got the Dominator, Tony Iverson, on that inside road. He is in third position right outside of him. You can see that 16, Michael Mata. Directly behind them, Jonathan K. Sabir. Most of his wins have come at super speedways. And outside of him is Bobby Dodson. Bobby managed to make it up through that wreck. You see a lot of cars on that inside row that were caught up in that. The pace car is off, and we can see Larry Johnson leading them around. Bottoms up, hammer down. We're going green at Daytona. Your leader, Larry Johnson, takes them across that start-finish line.
So let's see if they got it out of their systems or if they just want more. This will be a fun run, and we already see, just like last run, more cars wanting that inside lane. Lots of cars migrating there right away.
21 cars still on the lead lap here at Daytona International. First car a lap down is going to be Matt Novella. He sure could use a caution to to be the lucky dog. And then after that, you've got 3 cars that are 2 laps down. Zach, look how quickly they're going to the outside to make this thing 3 wide. That Budweiser car, the 57, he is not afraid as he's on the outside by himself, pushing hard. And then suddenly they narrow back up, and the 57 of Guerin pushes right back into line.
Yeah, Guerin right there showing I'm not afraid to go 3 wide, but also not getting the run he needed. No help whatsoever. Smart to bail out of it. Not going to go back to the inside. A lot of these drivers showing that they want to make moves. They don't have patience right now. I love it. So it's going to be fun to see who wants to work with who also feels the same way, and who is just content to ride right now.
You know, it's early in the race, so everybody's going to work with everybody. Everybody's everybody's friend. It's not a problem. Did see that incident initially. It was because they would not let that man back in line. Hopefully, these drivers are going to ease up, allow them in, and put in some green flag laps for us. But right now, that 921, he did not pit. He's in the lead. Right behind him, Tony Iverson. He's going to get a little love tap right there from the 16 to keep it tight. Then Jonathan Quesabir, he's your 4th driver. Austin Merrow in the 26. I want to go back to Brandon Guerin. Nice to see that damage that he took when his front end made contact didn't destroy the aerodynamics. He's still up to race speed.
Yeah, whether that be a fast repair or a not as bad damage as it initially looked like. Good to see that he still has the speed in that car, and good to see that he still didn't get shook up from it. Is willing to make moves. As we're starting to see around the middle of the pack, the top lane form up a little. It's going to be a matter of how many cars are willing to join that top pack. It's going to be if Dodson, if Lewis, if the 71 of Cook wants to join up that top pack. Because look at the run they are getting, Eugene. They have speed because they have less cars holding them up, and it's showing right here.
Oh, that clean air on that outside looks nice. And if you can get a side draft and slow him down, hey, why not? Oh, look at that. I want to give a little shout out to John Beverly. Made it. Ooh, contact with the wall. That was exciting, Zach.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this track, it feels like it's hard, or it's easy, but it's not. It's anything but easy. This track is constant stress every lap. It looks so much easier than it is. I cannot stress that enough. It is one of the most mentally taxing tracks ever race, especially moments like this where one little slip up could be the end of 10
A little bit of
day.
blinking also, Zach, and that's going to have a couple of cars lose that lead pack as well. Looked like Bobby Dodson was getting his blink on, and he is fading away from that track. Let's look back up top. 921 still in the lead. Tony Iverson right behind him in that 13. The 16 up there in deep as well as Mata wants to put his stamp on this MRL series. And then you can see some 2-wide racing right after those top 3 that are trying to break away, but there's just no way. That outside lane has got to make a move and close that gap up on these 3 leaders.
Yeah, the outside lane just needs to close the gap exactly to those 3 leaders in front of them, and I think either the 16 or 13 will help out. Mata or Iverson, you can tell, is kind of eager past that 921, especially Iverson. Watch these pushes Iverson gives down the backstretch. They are pretty dang big. You can tell he's kind of shown the 921. I'm here. I'm willing to pass you whenever I get the help that I need. And yeah, look at this. He's getting right there. He will let up right before we get to the turn, as a gentleman would. But definitely let the 921. When the timing comes right and I have the help I need, I'm out of here, Dan.
I like that you mentioned that, Zach, because what we're seeing is respect from these front drivers. Nobody's touching that left rear bumper going into that turn. They're backing off just a tad, and then you can see if there is a bump trap, it's once you get onto the straightaway. You can see Mata right there in that 16. He let off, but now that they're in that straightaway, he's going to stick his tail right up, his nose right up under the tail of Iverson once they get on that straightaway. That outside lane, Zach, they need to get their act together. I know that wall is scary, and somebody touched it earlier, but if they want to get back into this race, they're going to need to get their act together and get 5, maybe 6 cars all in a single file and start pushing to get by, or we're going to watch the Larry Johnson show like this is UNLV in the 1990s.
Nice one. We're trying. They're trying back there, and really the problem is sort of a numbers game, and also just the ability for more cars to join that group and help out. But I agree. They do need to figure a little bit something out. They should be able to get bigger runs up there. It makes the track, while it makes it longer, it makes it faster since the turns aren't as sharp. So you should be able to get bigger runs. And we're seeing them even try a little bit of side drafting down the stretches. They're doing everything they can, that group led by Austin Merrow, with Austin Cook following, really trying to get up to that front group. And again, I'm looking at that 16 car.
A lot of motion back there. Side drafting could become an issue. We are 20 laps down. Remember, 40 is where we're going to award points to be the leader at that halfway point. So perhaps we'll see a little bit more aggression. But right now, that inside row looking content to follow the leader, and put some laps on these Goodyears.
I totally agree. And another reason why I think it makes sense for Tony Iverson maybe to not have that urgency he might have later in the race to make the pass now is he can save fuel in second place. You never really have to run full throttle unless you want to in second place, kind of dictating your pace with the draft in front of you with the leader. The leader, however, unless he wants to get turned by second place, needs to be full throttle the whole time. Remember what Larry Johnson didn't do? He didn't pit. So this dude cannot make it to the end of the stage. So if you're Tony Iverson, I could see being content to run second, let him not make it, hit with 10 to go, and just drive away in the sunset and win the stage.
A little bit of chatter on the radio as we see some of these drivers that are a lap down trying to make their moves. Jay Stinson, he is back a lap down, and it looks like he is actually 2 laps down. Winston Smalley now is 1 lap down. He would love to be the lucky dog, but he's going to need a lot of help. And by help, I mean an accident up in the front of the pack as these guys continue to race as they are on lap 22 of 80 here at Daytona International.
And then finally, here we go. The 16 has seen enough. Michael Mata making a move, helping that top line, and watch how quickly that run develops. And just like that, right past Iverson. And look how happy that makes Mario. He's like, oh yeah, let's go. And look, here we go with some side drafting. That's where you're going to see the car get a little bit closer to the inside car. That takes the air off the side of the car and actually slows down the inside car. It is a really clever way, but sometimes risky way to slow. Oh, and Iverson turns does turn the 21. Does he?
He does. Beverly slowed to avoid contact. They're going down on the apron. The 921 and the 13 side by side, no contact. Looks like the one of Beverly also avoided contact. Really good driving right there. Iverson, I might have to call him the gentleman dominator because he let off quickly to not spin that man all the way around.
Yeah. Okay, we got a caution, so now we can say it. I love the nickname the Dominator. I was so excited about that. I was like, that's a great one. We already got it. But the gentleman might be even better after that. That dude checked up like 3 or 4 times to make sure the 921 of Larry Johnson didn't go around. Not entirely sure what the caution's for. This may be waived by MRL because of just how out of sorts that got the field.
So, interesting caution. I think some of the guys that avoided that foolishness might have some choice words for MRL officials, but those that were caught up in that are definitely glad to see that. I can see the race moderator right now having a conversation with some of the drivers.
Yeah, I try to never have an opinion of that, Mean Gene, when that happens, because I've been on both ends of that, where a caution that comes out that you're like, come on, they're in the league right out themselves, and it kind of messes up your strategy. But then I've been the other end of it, where you're like, guys, in real life, that would have been a caution. iRacing didn't just get it, and they bring it out, and it saves your race. So we'll all be guilty of that, or be in the wrong and good end of that at both times.
So what do you want to? You want to call that a competition caution, just to bunch them back up?
Sure, we'll call it. That's kind of a naughty word, but we can call it that because pretty much what it was. They're talking about it right now. David Owens giving confirmation now. This is word for word. The caution was thrown for safety reasons. And I think what he means by that, Mean Gene, is that there was just so many cars going different speeds because of that incident that it could have developed a much, much worse incident. Or it maybe, if we're being honest, given us pretty bad racing to finish off the stage, right?
Definitely not what you want to see is 3 groups of multiple groups in there. I've become accustomed to seeing 3 groups, Toyota, Ford, and Chevy when we're watching Daytona running separately, but often those groups will bunch back up. Something like this, you're going to see 1 and 2 cars isolated, and the 6 or 7 cars avoiding that definitely would have been had a big advantage.
So here we go into the pits. So let's keep our eyes on the cars like David Owens, who did do that extra little top off. Will that, extra couple, maybe even under a second, but can make a difference? Will that save him spots here? Will that get him more spots? Will he even pit? What I can see from here is
he's pitting. I'm looking, but he came in 18th spot. Let's see if the 11 who did that late pit, if he can get in and out quick. I'm keeping an eyeball on him right now. He comes in after Steve Lewis in the 88. You can see Lewis and then Volpus leaving.
And there we go with the race off pit road, and this is going to get mixed up.
Absolutely. A little bit longer pit there. Perhaps Owens decided that he would like some right side tires.
Perhaps this might be the time to start taking some tires. What we got 55 to go now.
5.7 seconds pit stop for Owens. That might have just been a full, just
Yeah.
topping that thing off because he's still in 17th. Didn't really gain an advantage. I'll tell you.
Yeah, the only tires I'm seeing, if anyone did, would be SB, Dwayne, Duvall, and Parham, and that could be damage repair as well.
Yeah,
So,
Matt
but if
Fritz,
you're
14.6.
tires,
Austin Merrow with a 14-second pit stop as well. We'll have to see once they cross that start-finish line and they recalibrate these standings exactly who got the advantage coming out of that.
yeah, I'm assuming there was a lot of strategy here. I'm seeing Volpus, I believe, further up than he was before. So this is gonna be mixed up, and it's gonna be about a 13 lap, 12 lap shootout. So things are going to get wild. I think we don't have a stage caution in this part of MRL. I don't think we're gonna need one, me and Gene. I think we're gonna get one anyway, but I don't think we're gonna need one required.
It's going to be very exciting. And right now, as they are coming around, um, I'm showing we're back to 24 cars on that lead lap. Let's see if that sticks.
Yeah,
That would be
Medina.
exciting suddenly to get back up there. Medina, though, 9 laps down. Not sure exactly what's going on back there.
Medina, brand new to this league, a rookie in MRL entirely. It's his first any MRL race. I believe just not familiar with the fast repair process. Probably got that damage fixed all the way instead of just fast repairing it. Um, but I do believe he did stay out there, so that's great. And hopefully we could. Yeah, he did. So who knows? 10 cautions is never out of the question, right?
No, we ran Bristol, and there was a lot of cautions at that one. MRL Wednesday night.
Yes, there were.
A
10 would
lot of cautions at that Xfinity.
10 laps would have been nothing. So look at my my ghost picks, me and Gene. We got one of them in first place, Kevin Brower, looking like he stopped for 6.7 seconds, so just topped off in that fuel and got a few spots that he needed. He is now in the lead, going to lead us to the green flag, and Jose Medina 10 laps down. So I was very, very right, and also just missed the mark by a little bit. But beyond that, we saw Owens gain 8 spots there, now up to 10. And in the front row with Brower, we have Hunter Hall. Also a rookie to the series. Excited to see Hunter Hall in the 922 here.
A name we have not mentioned yet, 922. Again, rookies have been a storyline here so far in our first 3 races, as we can see the progress they've made. They're rookies to MRL. They're not rookies to iRacing. They quickly find where they fit. Once you're practicing, you're going to gain respect with a lot of these other drivers. Most drivers take an opportunity to run those practices, and you're going to see exactly who's fast and decide how much respect you're going to give them on the track. Nothing gains respect like speed, and we're definitely seeing a lot of speed out of that 922 at Hunter Hall right now as he finds himself up on that front row.
Yeah, Hunter Hall having an awesome debut race, and if you don't have speed now, this league will chisel you into stone and make you into a quick driver. So many fast guys here, you have no choice. But we're about to go green again, and we're going to have, it looks like a 14 lap shootout to the stage win. This will be aggressive. Here we go.
Look right behind him. You can see Jonathan Case of Beer. That guy's fast on super speedways, and he can hold that line on the outside. Bobby Dodson in the 32. That's that outside row right there, and I would not expect to see them make it. We are bottoms up, hammered down, and he is leading them around. Kevin Brower, your leader, as we cross the start-finish line, and we are green here at Daytona International. Kevin Brower is your leader.
Kevin Brower playing the outside line like a fiddle, but the 16 of Michael Maddock has a decision to make here and decides just to push Brower. Perhaps not trusting the outside lane and how big of a run it may have with how huge of a gap they got on that brilliant restart by the 9. And the
David
16
Owens
and the 9.
quickly cutting down as well, finding that hole to get on that inside lane. I think we're going to see some lane swapping by a lot of these drivers in the middle right now, Zach. As you said, a 14-lap shootout to try to get that stage point. I'm in 8th, but you know what? I can make it up into 1st in just 13 laps.
Especially at the 922, Ken, if you have a case of beer behind you, the 922 was struggling to get speed down the backstretch, and Case of Beer was like, I got you, buddy. And he just basically drove the 922 into the lead there. That looked like the joint drafting. And here comes Dodson to push Case of Beer. This will be interesting to see what line Case of Beer wants if he's able to clear that 922, because that 6 has speed.
That outside lane is really wiggling. Very difficult for these cars to keep them straight once they get 3 or 4 deep. And right now they are 11 and 12 deep. Outside lane, though, making it work. Jonathan Casebeer, he's getting pushed hard by the 32 of Bobby Dodson. Right behind him, you can see the 26 of Austin Merrow. He's part of this. This guy outside lane is moving.
Yeah, and I don't mean to pick on the 922 too hard because everyone here is a great driver, but there's some guys who are great at leading and some guys who are great at pushing. That 922 seeming to have a hard time being the leader. They seem to have sorted that out here, not getting to the third car. I think you'll see that inside lane carry some speed now because the 922 has proven he knows how to be a good pusher here. Leading is a totally different thing, and it's, in my opinion, far more difficult.
Right now, that 28 of Austin Merrow looking strong on that inside. Jonathan Quesabir, though, he is content. He'll ride that outside the lane all the way to the end. Little bit of blinking right there by Guerin. Not what you want to see up in that front right now. Hopefully that thing will settle down, especially if you're right behind him. You're about to have a heart attack seeing that thing blinking in front of you.
And man, look at the 16 and the 921. We have so much chaotic energy right now. So many cars want to get to the front of the field, want to get those stage points, and things are getting crazy. And you're right, with those blinks with the 57 of Garand, if there's any track where that's not okay, it's here. If you see that happen once or twice more, then we have contact, and here we go. This might be a big one.
That is the 28. He made contact. That is quite unfortunate. Merrow caught up spinning. He's got the one of Beverly into him. The 24 also, Redinger, he hit the brakes. He's not going to have damage, I don't believe, but that's definitely going to slow his progress as we are waiting.
Let's take a look at this one real quick. I perhaps thought that middle lane was open, had the same idea there. That could have been what we just saw there. Everything happened so fast in the car.
It did. It looked like Beverly. I'm not sure if he came down and just made contact.
Because Merrow looks like he wants to
wiggling.
Does Merrow get touched here and get moved up a lane? Maybe. He's definitely not comfortable with that cars that close to the front and back of him. Just lots of non-commitment to lanes here, and this is often the result of that.
Yeah, it looked like Beverly came down a little bit further than he intended,
and
making
Medina
contact.
Misses that by a whisker. Lots of great wreck avoidance here. Lots of good checking up too.
Yep, and right there as well, you can see like a little bit of contact on that front end.
Oh yeah, plenty of contact there.
That might be a quick repair, Zach.
Yep, you never want to do that to the front end of a race car. That's where the engine is, for those who don't know.
Unless you got one of those fancy European cars, huh?
Who is that on the outside? Because I want to commend that. Is that Steve Lewis? Because that really is a great strategy sometimes in these races, is just hug the wall. Like, wall damage is better than what we just saw with that front end damage. I love that. Is this Steve Lewis here?
Well, you know, that's what they tell you. Aim for the smoke and stay high.
Look at this. This is wreck avoidance, and he gets...
Oh, somebody
like
just
in that lane. Actually, that wasn't Volpus. I'm sorry. I got mixed up with his truck scheme.
He said, go quicker through there.
Yeah, he's like, that's where we're going. Oh, that's funny.
You might not know it yet, but that's the plan. This is a two-person luge now, and you're in the front.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, it was the right call, wasn't it?
It was. They zipped him right through there. I'm not sure if it's open. It's open. Let's go. So lots of activity right now as we're going to see exactly what happens. And I'll tell you, Zach, these quick repairs are going to start adding up now. This is where we're going to find out exactly who's been pocketing it and who hasn't been. You don't want to be in that wreck, but you don't want to be in the back and lose the pack. So you got to push it, and suddenly you find yourself right in the danger zone. And before the Kenny Loggins music even comes on the radio, you're sideways getting pile driven.
Yeah, you got to pick your battles, and that's why we were predicting them around the stage win. That is one of the battles that's often worth picking, right? Like, you get the playoff point, you get some extra points just in case later in the race doesn't go great for you. But what's so rough about Daytona is often the wrecks are race-ending wrecks. They are brutal. They are at 180 miles per hour. They do catastrophic damage to the car, so they often result in a fast repair, and that's also why it's so important to try to bank that fast repair, because you can use your 2 fast repairs in the span of 5 laps here before you even know it, your race is over. So it definitely will add an extra level of anxiety to the guys who don't have that anymore. You got to approach this race completely differently with still 50 left to go.
Yeah, I'll tell you who did benefit. That's going to be Jose Medina, as he's going to go from 10 to 9 down if he is the recipient of the lucky dog. Not sure if he was involved in that accident. I didn't see him come to a complete stop. I didn't see him get contact. So hopefully he'll be able to push it up a little bit farther. Right now I see him running in the middle of the pack, hopefully waiting his turn to zip around on that lucky dog. Our leader currently, though, Jonathan Quesabir, Again, you know, that was a guy we drew attention to early. 4 of his 5 league wins have been on super speedways. He likes them. He likes running that outside. He'll push you to a good position and then swoop down and steal victory right from your jaws. Right outside of him was his partner, Bobby Dodson, in that 32, running strong. And hey, Jay Dwayne, welcome to the party, my friend. That number 3 Chevrolet, he's going to be in that second row right next to your early favorite, Kevin Brower, still running strong as we see these guys coming around the track behind the pace car here, Daytona International. We have run 32 of 80 laps, looking at 40 as that halfway point. All these guys want to be in the lead and get those playoff points for that 40th lap.
Yeah, Case of Beer proving to be somewhat of a super speedway specialist. This guy has found so much success on these tracks in the past, and he's showing why. What I love so much about his run today is he didn't start up here. He qualified somewhat mid-pack and has quickly worked his way up to the front and shown that he can stay up there. Potentially 2 of our fastest cars today, Dodson and Case of Beer, will be leading this front row. This will be a fun restart, and I also love who's pushing that. We got a lot still to race for on this stage, and like you just said, it's not over. We're going to green with 8 to go.
Right now, we've got 18 cars on the lead lap. After that, we've got everybody 1 lap down, and then our friend Jose Medina is still 10 laps down. So we're hoping that California driver can get some luck. But right now, there's a lot of lucky dogs in front of him. Looks like Matt Novella is your lead candidate for the lucky dog. As we are about to go green, 18 cars on your lead lap, 32 laps down, an 8-lap shootout coming our way. The pace car is off the track. And right now, Jonathan Quesabir on the inside. He's side by side with Bobby Dodson, bottoms up, hammer down, and your leader, Jonathan Quesabir, takes him over the start-finish line here at Daytona International.
I will be surprised if you see cars with a rush to go to the bottom here. All bets are off. You want a lane to yourself. But the 6 of Case of Beer wanting the top, wanting Dodson, pushing him. Very, very
interesting.
interesting.
To the lead by Dodson. Why not do it again, Zach?
Wow, and splitting the middle goes Epsy. He's wasting no time. What an awesome move by Epsy, and he takes the bottom with the 57 of Garand following him through. We're going to have 3 wide racing here.
Steve Lewis bails out quick. That's him in the 88 going down below the apron. There was a little bit of blinking on that outside. He did not want a piece. But look at that outside row right now. The 6 of Case of Beer, the 32 of Dodson, the 9 of Brower. He's back at it. And hey, look out. There's the 921 of Larry Johnson. He says, hey, this is my race. I'm leading. Get out of my way. And he finds himself on that outside lane. These 4 cars pushing hard.
Garen got 4 to 5 spots on that 1 lap with a bold move down the middle to the inside and finds himself over the lane a lot of people have liked. And now we go a little bit single file here, but the pushes, as you can see, are aggressive. Brower hitting Dodson right there in the middle of the corner, not showing the same patience these guys showed earlier in the race. Brower on the outside.
It's go time right now. Look at the 57 of Garand. He is up and down. He's letting that 921 Larry Johnson in. Larry Johnson now below him. Those 2 guys are swerving. Let's keep an eye on that 921 and that 57. If somebody turns zigs and somebody zags at the wrong moment, I think we could see an incident. A little 3 wide, a bump. He touches the wall. These drivers manage to keep it in the straight and narrow, but you're going to see that middle car just get pushed straight back as it's 2 lanes strong right now, Zach.
And that 3 wide is giving these 2 lanes a chance to get away and run. And these guys are focused right now on going as fast as possible. Both of those lines looking pretty organized with 2 fast cars leading him. And Karen has been so aggressive. I do not believe the push he gave to 9 last lap. And we'll probably see it again here with another strong push. Yup, there it is. And Bauer eats it up like a champion. And look how much speed that 9 gets from that.
Now, they're not taking prisoners right now. We're looking at 5 laps until that halfway point, and these fellas are just going to keep pushing hard. Brower now showing that he could be the stronger car, but look at that, he's getting that hard push from Dodson, the 921. There's no teammates here. Look, the 921 shoots up high, comes right back down. Quesabir lets him in, and now it's the inside lane with these faster drivers pushing hard as we look outside. The 921 jumping back to the top. He wants Brower to push him. He'd love to be in the lead. But right now, again, Jonathan Quesabir pushing hard. Bobby Dodson on his tail. Woo, look at this accordion. This is crazy, Zach.
And don't look now, but Tony Iverson is leading the outside lane. He was just in an incident. I don't even know how many spots he lost. Probably at least 10, and he's back in 5th. This guy you cannot stop him. And when he's by himself, he looks fast. It doesn't look like he needs as much help as the other cars. I don't understand. But man, he is so quick, and he's already in that top lane.
Oh, and he's got friends back there, good friends that can push him really hard. What is that? Jay Stinson behind him. That is a strong competitor. Brandon Guerin, he is a strong runner as well. And when he ain't blinking, and right now that outside row is taking it to him. As Case of Beer and Bobby Dodson trying to hold on, but that outside row is coming. I can hear the Jaws music, and guess what, Jonathan Case of Beer? You might need a bigger boat.
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing, me and Gene. I'm hearing the same music, but Brower not. Oh, and he hooks Iverson. Iverson the wall, and we got a little bit of it. 57 almost around. It's gonna be a big one.
And almost sideways. Brower manages to keep the thing going straight.
And when we said sideways and around, we meant upside down. That dude almost went upside down. He definitely went around. We are under caution.
He wanted to go.
Could have been a lot worse.
Look at the 28.
Oh, and after the caution, we have a little bit of an incident there between Iverson and who was that?
That was the 28. That looked like Marrow.
No, that was Marrow, who was just in another incident. How unfortunate.
57
So,
again.
This is a push gone wrong. I'm gonna go ahead and guess. That's what I saw initially was just a push gone wrong. Let's take a look. Yes, we have Brower on the outside with Iverson, pushing Iverson. So here we go. They're good now, but at this point, I think Iverson might already be out of shape. Nope, and this is the push. And Iverson at this point is going to be loose. And he's too close, and he's just going to hook him. Like I said in the last direct, this does happen so fast. And if I know a lot of people looking at Brower and saying, why don't you just check up, man? Well, guess what? If he checks up, he gets run over by the 57.
Oh, and look at the 57. And there's a little T-bone there by Jay Stinson. The 56.
And Matt Novella.
Part of it.
I see some fast repairs. I see some fast repairs in here, me and Gene.
I don't think you have to be a prestidigitator to figure that one out. But that crystal ball of yours is on fire. Because I think we're going to see some of those quick repairs. Look at these guys in the grass. You know, they're not on the apron. They're on the grass. And still, we're going to see a little bit of contact later as well. Oh, that's such unfortunateness for Tony Iverson. I just don't understand. You don't want to let off, but on the other hand, you don't want to be taken out of the race.
Yeah, it's so hard. It's such a tough situation for Brower and Iverson, right?
Why come back in? Just go 3 wide, be on the outside, lose a few positions, live to fight another day. Look at Joe Volpus avoiding that barely. That's two almost for Joe. Oh, and then the 13 gets whacked again. Oh, good one for good measure.
And then again.
And again. Wow, it must. You know, in jiu-jitsu, when you get promoted, you have to walk a gauntlet, and people slap you with their belts. And it looks like that's what happened. I think Tony Iverson, he must have got a new belt, and everybody decided to give him a slap. I don't know, Helio Gracie would be proud, but I think for us normal people, that's not exactly the kind of treatment that I want, especially when I'm only 3 laps away from that 40-lap mark.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Novella wasn't happy with something that Iverson did, because he definitely gave us some friendly shoves down the front stretch.
What? Are we talking about the same Matt Novella? We can't be talking about the same Matt Novella.
No, never.
And here's an in-car cam for Joe Volpus.
That was Volpus with some awesome record lines.
Yeah, it's a good thing we don't have audio because I imagine we would have heard some high soprano screaming right there by Joe Volpus as he is managing to make his way through all of that traffic. Really good driving by Volpus to avoid that foolishness.
Oh, absolutely. That was wild. We got David Owens in the booth with us. What did that one look like from your perspective, David?
Saw a fender fly at me first before I saw a car sideways. So I had to play some Days of Thunder avoidance. Yeah. Yeah. So
what are you saying? Like, we're kind of just seeing maybe like some eagerness to go 3 wide, some holes closing sooner quicker than people think because of bigger runs. What are you seeing in terms of the causes of these incidents?
Impatience, big runs, people, that last one, somebody got nervous going 3 wide, just not prepared. So intensity's just going to get higher and higher from here. So
you guys calling that the stage, or are we going to go green for a 1?
Yep, no, that was stage. So whoever completed the last green flag lap is going to get the stage. I think that was Case of Beer.
I believe it was. Cool.
But awesome. Yeah, should be a fun show from here. We're 40 laps away from here, and we got about 6 laps short of fuel, so it's definitely gonna one more caution or at least hopefully a green flag stop maybe.
That's fun. I love that. Well, thanks, David.
Yeah, absolutely. We're 1 to green here, so just keep an eye out. Should be some excitement.
David Owens giving us a spoiler, which
Thank you, David.
We're gonna get some excitement.
Wow, amazing stuff. We see Jonathan Quesabier claim that stage win. Again, the caution is because of the accident, not because of the stage. Here on Monday Night Mayhem, we run straight through that halfway point. Old school Winston Cup rules, as they will continue to run as long as there is not an incident. But we did have one there. Jonathan Quesabier taking that. And now we look as they are starting to file in behind that pace car, and we shall see who our race leader is. It looks like 921 of Larry Johnson back in the lead. This is a name we've said a few times, Zach.
Larry Johnson is he has really made himself known in today's race, doing a great job. He has came and gone from the front, and that is what's so difficult to do with this track sometimes, is once you lose that strategy, getting back to the field. Is that the Larry Johnson? Like the Larry Johnson?
Grandmama? I don't think so.
From Indiana? That'd be amazing. That would be unfair in terms of talent, also though.
Yeah, you never can tell. And the pace car is coming off. Larry Johnson is on that inside road, the 921. 922, Hunter Hall behind him. SB Quesabier, that's your top 4. Bottoms up, hammer down, coding across that start-finish line. The 921 of Larry Johnson back in the lead. Look at that jump he got, Zach.
What a bizarre restart. I'm not sure if we all saw that, but yeah, Larry Johnson had a full car length. It looked like there was no one else in the front row with him. I'm not sure if Hall just got caught asleep, but wow, what a gift for Johnson as he set sail. And already you're seeing Mata wanting that lead, taking the lead in the outside lane. And here we go, the 922 with a big push to give to him.
Look how high that 922 went on that last run. He's really running strong. He's still behind the 16. But you can see the Mata on the outside row is the leader, the 922 Hunter Hall, and then the 6 Jonathan Quesabier. Inside row, 921 running strong in your lead, Larry Johnson. And behind him you can see Bobby Dodson and who is the 920, and that's going to be another rookie, Aaron Espy, in that inside row.
Yeah, we got some 900s, 3 of them making up our top 5. That is awesome to see. And David Owens being all sneaky, coming into our booth right before we go green because he's running top 10 today, or top 10 for the first time today. But check him out, David Owens, letting his face known. We saw how fast he was here last year, put down the fastest lap, had the best speed rating by a country mile. And it's going to be fun to see how much speed he has now in the second half of this race. Owens clearly trying to buy his time until now. So we're going to see a different Dave Owens. As we see the 16 of Mata really side drafting that 920, Mean Gene.
He's getting awful close. I think, look at that middle group, though. Those are a lot of big names. As you see, Justin Parham, David Cook, David Owens, Joe Vulpes, right there, that 7 through 10 position. Those are a lot of veteran drivers as well. So we got a lot of experience there in the middle. They ought to know about give and take. And so perhaps they're going to put down some green flag laps here and not be as impatient as we saw at the end of that. But it's hard to get your heart rate back down, Zach. Once your heart starts beating around 180, you're just swerving left and right, trying to stick your nose somewhere it probably doesn't belong.
Yeah, as we saw there, a massive push for the 16 to Dodson, and that's a big enough push to bring them both to first and second. Wow, and Mata just said, I'm pushing you through the corner too. Dodson able to take it. Dodson clearly very comfortable with this next gen car in the super speedway, able to take pushes that other people are seeming to struggle with them. And then 922 and the 6 of Quesabier also getting linked up in that top. On top, kind of stalling out. And I like what you mentioned about veterans, but not just veterans, Mean Gene. We have Vulpes, Owens, and Jack's friends, good friends who have been racing together for years. These guys know how to work together in super speedways. Don't be surprised if we see them link up and work their way to the field together.
20 cars on your lead lap here at Daytona International. Your first Lucky God candidate going to be Steve Lewis in that 88, but he is 2 laps down, so he would need a couple of incidents to get it back. Right now, not a candidate to get back his lap the old-fashioned way. as we can see Bobby Dodson now is your leader, and he's got the 16 behind him pushing hard. That outside row, though, they're not done. Those cars are deep. We're looking at 4, 5, 8, 9 cars deep on the outside as well, running strong as we see the 922 of Hunter Hall, and that outside row pushes way up.
Wow, we just almost had a moment there with the 922 of Hall and the 6 of Case of Beer. It was almost a repeat of what happened to Iverson. A push gone wrong, a car to the outside fender, and luckily Case of Beer checked up just enough so something didn't happen. But that was close, and that was going to be the first and second place car. That would have been enormous. But as you said, we are going far back here.
Look at Owens with the move as he and Case of Beer touch. Owens finding himself in second, right behind Case of Beer. Justin Parham, he is a first-year driver, but he is leading that second row, and behind him, Kevin Brower lets off and lines it back up as that outside row now gaining speed. But Jonathan Case of Beer, and with the veteran Owens right behind him, they are in control.
Yeah, Parham debuting that number 18 after graduating from the 900s. Congratulations to Parham, instead of that gorgeous Raptor paint scheme, working the outside line, and wow, what a masterful job by David Owens. We were talking about him in 10th place 2 laps ago, and here he is in second, looking on Case of Beer, buying his time, probably going to make a move to the outside before we know it, looking for that lead. David Owens is ready to lead some laps.
A lot of cars going up and down at this point. It seems like the lead car has a lot more freedom to choose between that top and bottom lane. Hey, how about the 48 of Matt Fritz? Nice to see him up there, up in 8th place, as he is falling back into position. Nice cautious run, but I guarantee if you make an opening, the 48 of Fritz, he'll pop right in there and push his way to the front. But right now, David Owens was in the lead. Let's see who leads it as they come around that start-finish line, Zach.
What I love the most about what I'm seeing about David Owens is what I've talked about a lot today, and I'm going to harp on it a few more times, the ability to make passes. Not just choose your line and ride and hope that it's the right line and you make passes that way, but to actually choose different lines, make moves, and make passes and do it in a timely manner. David Owens, in the span of about 4 laps, just showed us he can get 10 positions in his sleep. That was an awesome job by Owens. It's going to be fun to see how hard it is to take that lead away from him now, as he looks like he wants to control both these lanes, which is very difficult. What I've found even more difficult in iRacing than it is in real life. In terms of
contact.
Oh boy. Whoa.
Kevin Brower came down a little bit, made contact with the 922 of Hall. Immediately, Brower on the radio saying, "My bad, did not mean it." And we are still green here at Daytona, as David Owens is going to zip around, and Owens finally did lead a lap there. Good for David, continuing to lead this group of here at Daytona International. But that name keeps coming up, Jonathan Case of Beer. He is right behind in that catbird seat.
Yeah, I guess I'll do the fun. I'll say the fun stat. That was David Owens' first lap led of the season, and we're on race 4. If you know MRL and you've been racing or watching this league for any amount of time, you know how bizarre that is. That is David Owens' first lap led of the Cup Series season and this season, and it came all the way in race 4. But who cares if he's able to get this win, right? I don't think he'll care about how many laps he's led at all. But like you said, watch out for Case of Beer. He is still with tons of speed and might just be waiting for the right opportunity and the right group to form up in the top line. Where he wants to go with them.
It's not how many laps you lead, it's when you lead, right? I mean, you look at one of our top series leaders. He hasn't led a lot of laps, but he sure led it when it counted.
Yep, Redringer's led 3 laps this season, and they were the 3 that it took to win the last race, but he's also our points leader. So consistency is the name of the game here. As here we go in the outside lane, Case of Beer making it to the top. He saw Dodson leading that group, and he decided he wanted to be the leader. He did not want to be stuck behind Owens, and that was a great move. Let's see if he wants to close the bottom and go in front of Owens, or if he's content to lead the top. Great move there in that outside lane, starting to gain some steam.
Oh, I'll tell you what, this is a team that might be bonding right now. We can see Case of Beer and Bobby Dodson. These guys, they might not have been talking a lot before the race. Maybe they were, but one thing's for sure, they're talking a lot now, because we've continued to see Case of Beer just hold that thing on a rail on the outside, and Bobby Dodson be pushing him about as hard as a guy can push another.
Then an awesome move by the 48 there. Fritz getting to the bottom, but just no help. Parham got so stalled up. I didn't see exactly why, but there's just no help in that bottom. That's going to cost them lots of places. But it's also funny you said that about Case of Beer. Yeah, recently, I believe, said in the Discord, he's actually looking for a team in this series. So I think he's going to find it today with how helpful and gentlemanly he's been. Oh man, and it's we saw Fritz I almost get there with the 25 there and have to go below the yellow line. No positions gained there, so no penalty. A close call nonetheless. Things are getting spicy here. But yeah, if anyone wants to join Jonathan Case of Beer's team, apparently he's looking for people and a free case of beer to everyone joins.
Well, Jonathan doesn't have quite the credentials. Not enough incident points on the year. He's only averaging about 4 a race, but maybe one day he could be a part of T-Bone Racing. But today is not the day. Jonathan Casebeer is still a privateer looking for a teammate right now. Tell you what, he's making a strong case to even start his own team. That 6 car looking strong as we see back to the 16. There's Iverson again. Good to see the Dominator making his appearance. But on the inside row, we're looking at the 921 of Larry Johnson. He says, get on my back, push me to the front. We can win this thing together.
I don't think he's saying that, Mean Gene. I think he's saying, get off my back. Fritz, you're making me crazy. Look at these pushes. They are so sketchy. The whole way down the front stretch, I saw maybe 3 close calls. I'm not sure if the 921 is just not, if Larry Johnson's just not super comfortable with that car, but there it is again. He's had enough. He's going to maybe just go down the middle and go to the end of this pack and say, I will see you guys with 10 to go. This is not worth it.
But I'll tell you who is finding it worth it is the 16, as we continue to see Mata driving that car like a jet airplane, finding his way up into 3rd. And there it is. Look at that inside row right now, running strong. Oh, is he going to let him in? He is. And on that outside lane, you're looking at David Owens, the lead car on the outside, wanting a push. Just a little while ago, we're talking about David Owens in the lead, and now he's magically delicious in 11th place.
And look who's pushing him, Tony Iverson. And we've seen a faster group of cars all day together. Those guys can rocket through the field so quick, and smart recognition by Jack Sanders in the 25. Like, oh, I'll take that help. And here comes the 57 Grand leading that as well. Wow, what an accordion that was.
We haven't said much about Colonel Sanders tonight, but you know, his driving so far this season, missed that first race. He is the defending league champion. Hasn't had a lot to lick his fingers about.
Here we go.
Is under the 16.
And we got cars around there. Some big hits on the outside. That's going to be the end of the day for a few cars.
Goes up strong.
Again. And he was so far back. He had nothing to do with that.
Oh, that looks like
these wrecks are taking forever to form, Mean Gene. Have you noticing that? Like they're getting loose, and then it seems like 10 cars back are the ones that really have to suffer the consequences.
I think you're right about that. It seems like you see the contact and you let off just for a little bit.
So here we go.
If they don't get clear, too bad.
Exactly. We're 3 cars back here, and we're going to see the contact originate here. 2 cars back, really. And I'm pretty sure these cars are going to get through scot-free. So Dodson and Mata get together there. And then,
Wiggle
Fritz in the 48. Wow, what awesome driving by Mata in the 16 to not hit anything.
Looked like the 921 cut down pretty hard to avoid that accident as well. Tap the wall, but I'd rather tap the wall than tap another car.
Yeah, the grass is only a 1X. Yeah, so that contact, the 26 and the 922, is going to be, I assume, pretty severe. It will be, now is when we're going to start finding out who has used their faster pairs and who has not.
Well, Smalley was running 1 lap down at that point. We're going to see exactly how much further he's going to go down. You can see the 16 there running as well. Lots of incidents here at Daytona as the pits are open, and Jonathan Casebeer is going to lead them down. You can see Garand, Bobby Dodson, Owens, lots of cars taking this opportunity.
So Owens mentioning that they were about 4 laps short before they went green. I was inclined to believe that maybe someone would have the cojones, or whatever you want to call them, to go for it. Because usually when you get a yellow, that is about 4 laps, and you can save that fuel. But looks like everyone here not wanting to risk it, top it off on fuel, maybe put some tires on it, depending on how you're feeling. Not super important here, but what this does do is it makes this race a little bit more straightforward. Everyone is good to go on fuel.
Well, and you know, Tony Iverson, that's a guy that loves a straightforward race, being victimized by some fuel strategy. Lots of drivers would rather have it straightforward. I mean, let's face it, we're racing. I'm going as fast as I can. Really hurts my feelings when I see somebody else come in and swoop that ring from me because they managed to coast. And stroke their shifter a little bit better than me. Instead, we're going to see a nice, strong run. These guys got the fuel. These guys got the tires. So we're going to see exactly who can do what on equal footing. Jonathan Quesabir in that 6. Looks like he is your leader at the moment. Let's see here once they come around.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to have Jose Medina and that gorgeous Daily Drivers Inc. car get another wave around, bring himself hopefully down to 9 laps down. And I just want to shout out Medina because oftentimes when people end up in positions like this, they call it a day. So props to him for being out here, and I've seen him in the pack a couple times, so that's cool to see, and we can't wait to see him in more races. But we'll get 1 lap back here, and like it looks like we predicted, Mean Gene, the guys, and this is not their fault, nothing negative about it, but the guys
Are you sure? I got my finger ready though. I'm ready to point. You just say a name, I'm pointing.
I'm saying I'm just gonna say the guys, and you guys can go from there. But the ones who initially were the cause of that incident are still in the front of the field. So the worst of it was the guys running top 10 and below. Interesting. Not, the big ones are when first and second are spun around, right? And then that's when it all starts.
Well, you know what the old saying is, gold runs downhill. Is that not the saying, Zach?
Honestly, that's like a new one to me.
Well, whatever it was, it ran downhill and it struck the back of the field.
Kevin, have you heard that one before? Have you heard gold runs downhill before, Kevin? He has not heard it. Okay.
No, I haven't.
Well, perhaps King Midas was involved and he was touching stuff and it turned to gold.
These 2 California boys just don't know.
Well, here we are. We are still at Daytona International, MRL Racing. Mean Gene Money in the booth. Zach Panzarella, KK down in the pits. We are at lap 56 of 80. Daytona International. Jonathan Quesabir continuing his strong run. Quesabir did take that halfway point, gaining those pivotal season points. Right now, outside lane on front row is Brandon Guerin in that 57. Bobby Dodson, I'll tell you what, he might as well get a toe chain the way he's been following Quesabir around. He's on the bottom row in second. David Owens, he's on that second row as well on the outside. Tony Iverson, Joe Volpis, Jay Dwayne, welcome back to the front. Jax Duval, Kerner Sanders, Michael Mata. That is your top 5 rows.
We have some guys who just won't go away in this race that are just constantly out front. It just goes to show that I guess when the talent comes in here, because these guys are just having no trouble getting back up front. Tom, the guys like Quesabir, Garand, I mean, pretty much our entire top 5, they've been here all day. It is so impressive to keep that track position in a track like Daytona.
It's confidence. It's that
really
confidence, and they've got it. Pace car is off the track. Jonathan Quesabir, let's see what he does in that restart zone. He gets a strong start. Bobby Dodson's going to be pushing him, and Jonathan Quesabir is your leader going across that start-finish line.
Yes, a little bit better, a little more organized than last time, but still the inside row getting whatever they want on the restarts. Tony Iverson with a big gap back to Dodson. Be interested to see if anyone fills that or how big that run is once Iverson gets there. And Iverson and Jax, massive hit. Jax, Iverson, their days are 1,000% done if they don't have fast repairs. And just even with that said, they probably won't get back around. Me and Gene, they're towing. Those were enormous hits.
Involved.
That happened fast.
We were just talking about Tony Iverson getting his way back into the front, and no sooner do we say it, we gave him the announcer's curse.
Yeah, we should stop talking about things. I was literally about to say that. We should just stop talking about drivers we think might win races.
All right, so there is a gap.
So look,
front, Garen.
It's all this accordion, me and Gene. It accordions starting at David Owens. Oh, man. And that Duval car, there's no way that thing's going to get back to the pits.
You just got to wonder exactly. Let's watch the 84 here. We're worried about Iverson.
Watch the 57 and the 11, me and Gene, too. Watch this accordion and watch how early it starts. Right there. Accordioning. Boom. And here we go all the way back. Boom, boom, boom. And it's a mess. And it's just not a bad push, but just an accordion, right? And man, these hits are disgusting.
And look at Steve Lewis checking the undercarriage on Duval's car. Wonder what he saw under there.
Okay, we're bringing Steve Lewis, and you take this one away, me and Gene.
I'm scared.
Oh, we're going on board with Steve Lewis. This is even better. Let's do it. This is going to be a wild ride.
Oh, you ever wondered what's underneath one of these cars, Zach? Let's take a look.
Oh,
hey! It's Alienware.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Yep.
quite unfortunate for Steve Lewis. Nothing he can do there.
Jinx, nothing he could do. It's just the most helpless feeling, right? Like, what are you going to do about this? He was probably thinking they were just going to go to the bottom and stay there, hopefully, in that wreck. And nope. And the banking at Daytona. Wow. That was quite the view. You can see the motorhomes. Oh man, I mean, yeah, the banking plays such a role in these wrecks too. So often, part of being good at wreck avoidance is predicting the wreck, and how you do that is the way the turn is kind of banked, and it kind of gives you an idea if the car's going to go up or down the track. And at Daytona, it's just so much more difficult because it's so violent that the cars just behave a little more unpredictably and definitely a lot more quick in their actions.
Lots of cars in the pits right about now. I was looking at Tony Iverson. A lot of work being done in there. You can see the 84 of Jax Duvall as well. Car, a little bit of movement behind him, that 32. We expect to see him come in. Lots of damage on these cars right now. That's the 921. Saw him running strong. Kind of hard to run strong from there.
We see Duvall and Iverson still in the pits, so that tells me their fast repairs have been used, and they're seeing what they can do in terms of manual repairs, which we'll see. But hey, we still have 21 cars, Iverson included, 22 cars in the lead lap. So even though we're seeing some pretty disgusting wrecks, we still have a long way to go in terms of what can happen here and how chaotic this thing's going to get with 22 laps to go and 22 cars in the lead lap.
921 finally moving down in the pit. That's a car we want to see get back up to the front. Running strong all day, Larry Johnson, as he shoots by Iverson and Duvall, who are still motionless. Clearly, they've used their quick repairs, and now it's time for a ball-peen hammer and some duct tape, as they're just hoping to get those things back onto the track. Jonathan Quesabir, though, as we look back up to the front, he is your closest car to the pace car, as he is your race leader. Brandon Guerin right behind him, Bobby Dodson, David Owens, top four, and Joe Volpis. Hey, welcome to the party, pal. He is your fifth place car.
Yeah, Larry Johnson able to get that damage fixed and stay in the lead lap. Always a great thing. So hopefully nothing too serious for him. Redinger, who I believe has been a lap down at one point in this race, back on the lead lap at last week's winner. So these wrecks have been good fortune for some of the cars where they deal with some problems earlier in this race, but also been the peril of some really fast cars.
Yeah, you don't want to be a part of it. Somebody we've definitely seen in one too many incidents today is going to be that 28 of Austin Marrow. He has just been hit left, right, and center. He's got to be hoping that he can make it through without actually. I don't see any damage on the front of his car. Good for him. But the left, the right, and the back of his car looking brutal, as that Camaro has been having a rough day. We still have, as you said, 19 cars on the lead lap. And 2 of them are 1 lap down. A few are 2 lap down. And only Jose Medina, he's still 9 laps down as your 25th position.
Yeah, we lost a few of them that last pit cycle there. And you're right about the 28. I mean, I'd be so nervous about the 28 to the point where if I'm another driver, I don't even get near that 28 because he's just been a magnet for wrecks that were not his fault today. So I would not even want to be around that car. But hopefully for his sake and not his doing and how good of a drive he's actually had, he's able to get this one home clean. But Case of Beer, man, let's talk a little bit more about him. I know we talked a lot, but this guy, what a super speedway specialist, controlling the race, brilliant restarts, and we've talked about it every week too, the inside line. I don't know if it's a next-gen thing or what it is, but just like last week, the inside line just doing whatever it wants on these restarts, getting massive gaps, almost to the point where like the third car can lead the outside line on the inside on the way out of 2 if they want to.
Yep, and then we just wonder how hard they swerve up and to the right, because I'll bet you $1 to a nickel that we're going to see Jonathan Quesabir get a strong start. Bobby Dodson's going to be stuck to him like white on rice, and then both those cars are going to take it up high on the outside to get ahead of Guerin. The pace car is off. Bobby Dodson is going to be pushing, and Jonathan Quesabir is your leader. Bottoms up, hammer down. Quesabir leads him over the start-finish line, but that outside lane got a heck of a run.
Something went wrong there for the 6 at Quesabir. He did not go, and he had a little bit of jump blink there from the 57, and he's not back yet on my end. Oh, there he is. Okay, whew, that was scary. But yeah, Quesabir not with the restart that we've seen all race, and that is going to completely change the dynamic of this restart.
Absolutely. Suddenly you find yourself side by side on that front row as you come around. Quesabir getting pushed by Bobby Dodson. They're wiggling hard as that third car is getting strong.
More trouble. 16 in the wall.
That's
oh,
the
man.
3. Looks like the 3 of Dwayne made contact with that wall and came down.
Saw Mata in that one. I saw quite a few cars, and I think you're right. Dwayne was in that one. I think I saw the Coca-Cola car of SB in that one as well.
Unfortunately, look at that. The 16 involved. Jay Stinson is down in the grass. Wow, look at that. Let's see if it started. It looked like the 3. Not sure if he went up. You can see him right there. He's the third car on that outside lane. That accordion you were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just really choked up there in the top, and it's so easy to look at the second car in the row like a couple episodes ago and be like, why didn't you check up? But look how close it was behind him. There's just nothing you can do, really. Let's go on board with Novella here and see his perspective of this. There's probably be some awesome wreck avoidance.
I think Novella turns into a ninja and just splits the middle.
Oh, the Red Seas part. The Red Seas part, Mean Gene. That is awesome. He deserves that after everything he's been through.
More screaming. That's that confidence you get from winning instead of hitting the brakes. Ooh.
And that's a 71 to Cook. Oh, Cook just controlled the early part of this race and seems to got mired in midfield and just keeps getting stuck in these incidents. And wow, did you see him going across the screen there? That was probably a pretty violent hit.
So once again, that accordion, these spotters not doing their job, not doing justice to the drivers. They're not letting them know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And awesome move by Cook there, even though it didn't look particularly pretty. But he saw he was about to nose that thing in, and I've already said it today, don't nose cars into things. And he backed it in instead. So Cook will probably live to see another day, even with or without that fast repair, as we'll find out now. But again, rear end damage, way better than front end damage. Heads up move by Cook.
Pits are open. We see a lot of those lead lap cars going in. Those lap cars, they are forced to stay out, remember. They don't get an opportunity. But as we look ahead, we see cars not going into the pits. David Owens, part of that group. You can see Quesabir.
Dodson staying out, Garan staying out, and Vulpes staying out as well. So our top 5 being capped off by Owens. Interesting. I probably, if I was in this race, I think I'd be done pitting unless I had damage.
I agree. At this point, you got to think we're at lap 63. There's 17 to go, probably 15 once this pace car goes off and we get everything settled back into position for that side-by-side restart. I'm thinking I'll take my chances up front. And right now, I am curious. It's too bad because Bobby Dodson is going to be side-by-side with Quesabir, and that's the first time we're going to see Batman and Robin not lined up.
It is, and the guy I liked Dodson with all race. Ooh, 57 of Grant, giving Dodson a little love tap there. But Dodson and the 16 of Mata were working brilliantly together a couple of runs ago as well. Dodson, I think, if I was to guess, is probably the best pusher we have out here. He has done some violent and aggressive pushes, but they haven't seemed to have gone too wrong yet. And that's kind of who you want behind you. So I think what you're also seeing a little bit, Mean Gene, is Quesabir, not taking anything away from him because he's kicking butt right now, also looking even better than he actually is because of how good these Dodson pushes have been. But it will be fun to watch him lead, and I don't even think Mata's out of this thing totally yet. So we'll see.
And look at Quesabir. It looks like he's going to take that outside lane, and that's going to put the 57 of Garin behind Dodson. Remember, Garin on that last restart, not sure if it was a blink or a spin of the wheels by Quesabir, but they did not get the run that they were looking for. Quesabir now, he's choosing to go up top instead, trying to perhaps get a different drafting partner than the 57 of Garan. We'll just have to see what Dodson and Garin can do once they get this restart in place. And is that the 07 of Joe Vulpes on the outside going to be pushing?
Yes, it is.
Mr. Quesabir?
Yes, it is. And that's a good choice by Quesabir. Not Garan's been a great pusher all day today, too. But yeah, that last restart was fascinating with Quesabir. The inside line has been dominant all day, and it just did not go there. I was assuming maybe Quesabir missed a gear or something like that. but perhaps maybe he just didn't like either whether it be who was behind him, who might still be behind him now, or maybe just the way that inside line felt in terms of tire spin on older tires, to where he wants to give the outside line a chance. He might think it's him, not the line. That's the advantage.
Other cars on that outside we're looking at, we got Austin Marrow in that 28, and then is that Aaron Espy as well on the outside?
In the 920, yes, it is Aaron Espy. And behind him in the 921, we got Larry Johnson. A lot of cars that have been in incidents, but again, just not going away, just still having enough speed to stay up front.
Inside row, though, that's powerful. You look at Bobby Dodson, Guerin, he's been up at the front, whether he pushes good or not. The guy's been top 5. David Owens, how about the 56 right there in Novella? That guy seems to have the magic touch right now as he has avoided a few incidents. Don't want to jinx you, Matt. Keep running strong, bud. Keep it on in between the lines. And behind him, you can see the 921 Larry Johnson. He wants back up in this thing. And a name we haven't mentioned in about 20 laps, that 922, another rookie, as Hunter Hall would love to find his way back up. And oh my, there's the 24 of Kenneth Redinger. He'd like to put his name in the hat as well.
Lots of fast cars up front. Look at that gap to the pace car that Case of Beer wants.
Well, let's see what he does with it. The pace car is off. Case of Beer is your leader coming around the restart zone. Case of Beer taking it high. Late start. Bobby Dodson might have to let off to not get penalized, as we see Case of Beer cut down hard in front of Bobby Dodson. Batman and Robin back together again. Guerin in third behind them. Owens, your fourth car on that lead lap. And as you look on the outside, you see Marrow up there by himself trying hard to get a push.
Case of Beer just called the shots on that restart. He went late, he went when he wanted to, and then he took the inside and made them make a decision in terms of their little accordion effect. He is doing this race his way, and can't blame him. We got 16 to go. It's winning time. In Case of Beer,
think Bobby had to let off. I think Bobby had to let off to not get penalized.
Brilliant move by Novella to the outside. Wow, he had a massive run from the bottom. He takes the outside. He's going to have the 57, the 56, the 57 working together. And wow, Novella, that run lasted a half a lap, didn't it?
It's still going. Winners win. And Matt Novella, coming off that win on Thursday, finds himself in the lead of this race. 56, 57, 11 behind him. Joe Volpus, that's a Gulf Coast Racing teammate of Owens. That outside row is about as solid of a team as you can get. But that inside, Case of Beer, Bobby Dodson, Batman and Robin, these guys are making a move.
Those Dodson pushes are enormous, and they are sketchy, but they're only sketchy if you feel like they are. If Case of Beer is happy with them, then by all means. I mean, wow. Props to him, because look at Dodson. We're going through the corners. That's rule number 1, to not do that unless you trust the guy doing it, and clearly he trusts Dodson, and that's why they're back in the lead. The pushing that Dodson is doing, guys, for those of you who have not done this, I cannot explain to you how difficult it is to keep that 6 car straight right now.
Hey, you could get out of the way. I've seen many times Brad Keselowski pushing drivers, and then they just choose to get out of the way. They can't handle it. But right now, Case of Beer can handle whatever you throw at him, and he is your leader with Bobby Dodson directly behind him. Look at the other cars as well. That inside lane pushing hard, and then suddenly the 920 jumps up high. He gets in ahead of Novella, becomes the leader on that outside row, which allows the 921 to push up into third on that inside row. But right now, Jonathan Case of Beer, Bobby Dodson, Batman, and Robin trying to make their play here.
Yeah, Aaron Espy just not having the run he needed to not stall out that outside lane, and the outside lane, the entire line paid the price for it. Same thing with Owens as they split the middle there. They put Lewis on the outside.
Caught out.
Wow. Yeah, again, they just did not want to be a victim of the same thing that just happened in the 920. Lewis just did not have the run to maintain the speed the outside line had, and they were like, sorry, buddy, we got to go. But still, that outside line needs to group up, needs to get some organization here, or that 6 and the 32 are going to drive away. We only got 13 to go.
Right now, look at that 921 of Johnson. He sneaks his way back into this thing, and the 24 of Redinger in fourth. Jay Stinson, David Owens. Oh, what a race as Case of Beer leads him around lap 68 of 80. Running strong here at Daytona International.
Owen's the first to tell them, I will lead this outside line, guys, don't worry. And he's doing it from 5th place. That's a great place for that to start. And as you can see, already getting a little bit of momentum. I would not be surprised if you see the 24 or the 921 want to join that outside. I also won't be surprised if you see them up to the 32 soon as they're catching lap traffic at the 922. This can get sketchy. Hopefully he goes all the way to the top.
Yeah, it's going to take something, though. Somebody's going to have to get in front of Owens and take that push if they want to make something happen. Owens being pushed by Parham right now, but it is still the 6 and the 32 in control. The 921 of Larry Johnson, he's back into this. Kenneth Redinger, our series leader right now. And behind him, Jay Stinson. But look at that outside lane. Can they make it work? They need a new leader. They need someone to push them up to the front. But right now, that inside row, content as they come around. 10 laps to go, Zach.
And with this few laps to go, you need to do things you're uncomfortable with. Look at the 32 and the 6 down the backstretch. Watch how crazy, even down this turn 1 and 2, watch how crazy these pushes are able to get. Dodson's so good at getting square with the 6, making sure these pushes aren't too sketchy. Look at that. Perfectly square. He's going to do it every possible time he's able to down this backstretch, and that's what that outside line needs to do. They're doing it there. They need to get that aggressive. They need to be willing to take those chances that the 32 and the 6 have been obviously and continuously willing to take.
But right now, Dodson, he's not going to leave his buddy. He's stuck with him right there. And 921, he looks like Commissioner Gordon because he's involved in this as well as those 3 cars running strong. Nose to tail on that inside lane, that outside lane, they need a friend. And right now, nobody's willing to pop up. Maybe it'll be the 24 of Redinger. Maybe Redinger will take that chance and jump up. Maybe it'll be Bobby Stinson in the 2 that'll jump up. Not sure. But that inside lane running strong. Only 4 cars in that outside lane. They just don't have the juice. There's the move. There's the move we were waiting for.
Volpus to the outside to help out Owens. Teammates here to help each other out on the outside. These guys know how to work together. They've been doing it for years. Be interested to see if they can get to the front. And yeah, Dodson not going to do anything to the 6 until we're very, very late in this race. I'm talking 1 to 2 to go. You ask anyone in this field and anyone in real life NASCAR, second place is better than first place late in these runs. That's where they'd rather be. It's, believe it or not, more control in second place in these super speedway races. Dodson is in the catbird seat. He loves where he is. All he's focused on right now is getting that 6 as far ahead from that outside lane as he possibly can. Simplify this race for him. But they're not trying to do that. Volpus and Owens pushing hard, trying to close the gap between the outside and inside lane.
Only 13 cars are in this group, all of them eligible for the win. But with 4 or 5 now in that outside group, can they do anything with it? Bobby Dodson, he pokes up his nose a little bit. I think that was just the handling of the car. Outside lane, Steve Lewis now lead lap. He is eligible for this win as 4 cars, 5 now on that outside in the group of 13.
Lewis, an exceptional super speedway racer, knows how to survive in these races, knows when to make moves, and knows how to stay with the pack. He'll be fun to watch, and another guy that's been racing with that group for a long time. These guys know how to work together. Well, the first 2, I believe, probably Kesa Beer and Dodson, this could be their first time working together on this type of track, but you wouldn't know it by watching them. And yeah, Redinger and Johnson, let's talk about them, the guys in 3rd and 4th, buying their time as well, waiting for the right time to strike. Don't be surprised if those 2 are the ones who end up leading the outside line, because that's probably the first car that's willing to do it with that 3rd place car of Larry Johnson, not 21. The 16 getting lapped right here.
That was an amazing save. 16 swerved hard to get out of the way of Kesa Beer. And the Budweiser car, the 56 of Guerin involved in a little bit of incident. 16 coming down hard into this lead group, trying to get into that draft. Might be a contact right there with that 16. Got to be careful. Those guys are going 2.5 seconds a lap faster than you. You can't just jump in that middle.
Larry Johnson almost around there from the 24 of Redinger. That was not the best push in the middle of the corner, and that almost sent around the 921. That would have been enormous. Great save by Johnson, but look at this. Lewis and Novella, and they're together. Oh, man.
Outside lane with big problems right there, my friend. Who was that?
Yep. Looked like it was Novella, Lewis, and a few others, and that is going to be the end of their chances to win. And Larry Johnson, that's going to be the end of their chances to win this race unless we get a caution. That is just brutal. No cars around there, so no reason for a caution. And now the front field a little bit more single file. Let's see what happens.
So we're looking at Jonathan Quesabir, still your leader. Bobby Dodson. Behind him, Kenneth Redinger, Jay Stinson, David Owens. That's your top 5 as that group starts to break away. You can see Steve Lewis in the 88. He's in 6. He'd love to see Guerin and Parham team up, get behind him and start pushing. Right now, though, Owens taking it high, and that's what that second group loves to see, would be that first group to start with that side-by-side racing. But right now, Dodson and Quesabir, Batman and Robin, pushing this thing around. Owens falls in behind Stinson, that top 5 in one group. That second group right there, there's 6 cars, Zach. If they would just get it together, they'd have a chance. But Batman and Robin, does anybody have a solution? Riddle me this. Who's going to win?
Yeah, only 5 to go. If I had to choose someone right now, at least they're green, Dodson. How do you beat Bobby Dodson? He's in second place. He's in the captain suit. He's had a ton of time to make a plan, and he knows what to do, and he knows what to expect from Quesabir in terms of when the runs are coming, in terms of when he's struggling to pick up speed. It's tough to beat the second place car when you're someone like Quesabir right now, but he's proven in the past 4 times that he can do it. And I like that move by Owens, kind of trying out the outside. You're only in a group of 5. Like you said, all that group behind him needs to do is get organized so they can catch him these next 5 laps. But it's the time to try it out now if you're Owens. A group that small, you're not going to lose the pack, or you shouldn't. As you saw, you almost did with Stinson, but oh man, you know Owens wants something to happen here. He wants something to happen. 4 laps is not very much time.
That second group has fallen apart. Only 4 cars in that second group. And then
Lewis
you fall back into 6 more. So we'll see exactly what they can do here as Steve Lewis trying to put his name into the ring. And suddenly that group of 2 becomes a group of 1. Strong racing. Only a few laps, 3 laps left, Zach. Bobby Dodson poking around, but can he get around that rear tail of Quesabir? Look at that outside. Oh, look, it's pushing hard. Almost goes into the wall.
And he still isn't squared up great. Oh, he had to bail out. Still trying to find that.
He's still pushing it, though. He don't care.
He does not. Oh, but that run is killed. But, man, they got up there so quick. Lewis did such a good job. Catch the field, and he almost hooks Owens there. They just cannot get the run they want. They're going to have to regroup, re-to-go. And you're right. How does Dodson figure this out? He's going to probably want to back it up to Redinger a little bit. Let Redinger catch him, give him a push. And that's when you'll see him make the move. But for now, stay linked up with that 6.
Amazing racing here. We've only got 2 laps coming around.
Here goes the 57.
57, he's going high. Guerin, he needs a partner. Will the 16 go with him? Right now he's side drafting off of Jay Stinson. And we see the 16 stay low, not going to take that chance and go up high with him. Going to force that group now. Guerin, Owens, Lewis in that outside group of 3. Can they keep it straight? Lewis has had a little bit of difficulty being the pusher. Owens, perhaps, though, he can push that 56 of Guerin. But right now, they're having difficulty trying to catch that inside lane. Quesabir, Dobson, Redinger, Stinson running strong. And the 16 right behind him trying to make a decision. That outside lane is really squirrely. It might be the track, Zach.
It could be. And yeah, Owens gave an enormous shot. So if anyone can take it, it's Guerin. Because Guerin just took it and they went. And look at the run now. We got 2 to go, me and G. It's the white flag this time around. If we get to the white flag, next flag ends it. So, wow, this would be it. No more restarts. When will Dodson make his move? This is going to be interesting. We're catching a lap. We're catching Novella in the 56 as well. Let's not forget that. He is right there.
Now, the 24 and the 2 have been content to run here as we see Novella getting eat up by the lead track. The 24 and the 2 have been content. They have not made the move to pass. Oh, the 24 goes slow. He hooks up with Quesabir. Dodson on the outside with a blinking Guerin. Jay Stinson behind pushing the 24. Let's see exactly what is going to come out of this as Bobby Dodson, the big loser in that shuffle. He starts to go backwards. Looking up front, it's Quesabir, Redinger, Stinson, Guerin, and Owens with the 16 right behind him.
Guerin just blinked at the worst possible time, cost Dodson a run in. They're 3 wide. This is insane. And he gets hooked. The 57 gets the 24 is going to go 2 in a row. Redinger clears through everyone. It's going to be Redinger again, I believe. Wow. Or is it Quesabir? No, it's Redinger. Or did Quesabir clear through all that?
Unbelievable.
Redinger clears through all of it. I lost Quesabir in the mayhem. I apologize, but Redinger clears through all of it. He has led, me and Gene, he has led 4 laps this season. And he has 2 wins, and he's going to be leading the standings by a nice margin.
You know, It's not who you go to the prom with, it's who you leave with. And right now, Kenneth Redinger, he appears to be collecting prom queens as he is going to find his second win of the season in just 4 wins. Look at this push right here. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of accordion effect.
Yeah.
But 11 is right up in that 57, and he's just telling him, go faster. I'm not done pushing you. Go faster.
Absolutely. I mean, like, yeah, Owens was not going to check up. The time for checking up for runs is over, and Owens, no fault of his own, not having any of that. And Redinger just at the right place at the right time, and that's what in these races is. That's how I've won every single time I've done it. So props to him, and Case of Beer doing everything right, literally everything, and coming up on
unbelievable. I mean, Jonathan Case of Beer controlled that thing. He was literally Batman on top of Gotham City. He had Robin in his pocket. These guys, and I'm not talking about the child Robin. We're talking about the adult who's going to be wearing the Nightwing costume in just a few months, Bobby Dodson. This team looked unstoppable. All of a sudden, Redinger gets that push at just the right moment, finds himself up in the lead, and the 24 of Kenneth Redinger. He's our series leader. He's our winner from last week. And guess what, Zach? He's our winner this week as well. God, amazing race here at the end as these guys managed to put that together.
Yeah, just like any other crazy Daytona race. And look at these saves by Case of Beer. I mean, Case of Beer not being denied his second place, which he very much deserves. And also Dodson, happy to see him end up with a podium finish after getting shuffled out on the last lap there. Maybe thinking about, what if I got on time it earlier, not giving Redinger that time, but hindsight's 2020. And the end of these things typically get even more chaotic than that. So it's always an adventure, and props to Redinger for being the sole survivor and everyone coming through mostly in one piece, right?
Well, that's all you can hope for. Tonight especially, we saw some aggressive racing, but then they capped it off with some really good driving, swapping lanes, swapping positions. I was really looking forward to seeing Case of Beer blocking that entire front lane at the end of that race, but instead we see the accident, and it just doesn't end up quite the way that Jonathan would have liked. But instead, taking home second place, that's good points for the season, and that will definitely help him. I'm looking right now at our Discord channel to try to talk with a few drivers. I would love to get Bobby Dodson in here, but unfortunately, I don't think Bobby's a Discord user. So he is not exactly on that list of people to talk to.
Maybe instead, not tonight. I see Dodson. We can pull him over. He's over in.
You see him?
Yeah, he's in the Gulf Coast channel. If you want to get him over here.
I got him. I'm gonna zip him in right now.
But yeah, to your point, Mean Gene, also that's so true. And you can't really block 2 lanes at once in iRacing the way you can in real life, and kind of makes Case of Beer a sit and duck in that situation. But yeah, let's talk to Dodson. Take it away, Mean Gene.
Bobby Dodson, Mean Gene Money here, dude. I got you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you what, if I had to pick anybody out of this 25-man field to push me around high line, low line, you, sir, were the guy. How did you keep that thing straight and not manage to cause any incidents pushing and yet be the best pusher on the track? Was your car dialed in? Are you a super speedway phenom? What exactly are we looking at here, Bobby?
Well, at 6, he had a good line, but I just shoved him as hard as I could.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've seen a lot of shovers, and often people will get out of the way, but you never touched that left bumper in the corner, and it seemed like you squared up and let your guy in front of you square up no matter who it was. Really expecting to see you and Jonathan there at the end. That unfortunate incident, and Kenneth Redinger, I'll tell you what, that guy, he's like the vulture up on that top stoop waiting. He's like the lion waiting for you to take down the kill so he can swoop in and get all the best little morsels. But Bobby Dodson, heck of a run, my friend. The Bobby Dodson, driver of the 32, he is up on that podium in 3rd place. Thanks, Bobby. You want to give a shout out to anybody?
Not that I know of at the moment, but hey, I'll get him next time.
Yeah, well, he's not known as one of the more colorful drivers for nothing. Bobby Dodson, 32. Who's next, Zach?
Let's talk to Jonathan Case of Beer. You guys, Jonathan?
I got you.
Man, I'm pretty sure you led the most laps out there. We were calling you the super speedway specialist all day because we know about your success in this league on these type of tracks, and you were what, half a mile away from doing it again today. Take me through the finish and your perspective, and what I was kind of talking about. What I'd like to know from your end is like, did you feel like there was anything you could do, or is it just kind of one of those things?
I probably should have had more faith in Dotson behind me. I saw the 24 coming to the inside after the white flag, and I moved down to block it, and he pushed me down the straight. But I feel like if I would have stayed in front of that 32, he would have just stayed locked to me to the end, and it would have been him just mano-a-mano off 4.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. It's always hindsight's 2020. It's always easier said than done. Probably things you'll hear me repeat a million times tonight, or heard me repeat. Also, one more thing, just you are also obviously an excellent driver in this series. You're great in Xfinity. You're excellent in these next gen cars, but you clearly have something in these super speedway races. You want to clue anyone in on what it is you look for, what you think it is that makes you so good here? Because it's such a, in my opinion, specific set of skills to be good at these type of tracks.
Yeah, basically, if I'm not in the top 5, I'm sitting at the back. I don't want to be anywhere in the middle. I'm going to pounce on the opportunity to lead, or I'm going to chill and let everybody wreck each other.
I'm the exact same way. I talked about that today, too. I'm the exact same way. Well, excellent job today, Jonathan. If we go back to one of these tracks again this season, you'll be in the top of my list, but man, you did great today, and congrats on the second and badass save at the end.
Yeah, I was full throttle for most of that. I don't think I lifted until my car was straight. I was just turning the wheel as much as I could to keep it straight.
Love it. That's what I like to see. Love it, Jonathan. Well done. Who you want to talk to next, Mean Gene?
Well, again, Jonathan Quesabeer, heck of a run. He was 9th in points. He jumped up 3 coming off that race at Kansas, and we're going to see Quesabeer push himself even further up in the standings once MRL officials do all of those calculations. And Zach, KK, that leaves one person. We waited until the very end, and guess what? That's when he waits as well. Your winner, the 24, Kenneth Reniger, he's coming in. How we doing tonight, Kenneth?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
You know, Kenneth, we were talking about how many laps you lead in a race, in a series, and you're starting to remind me of like the largest lion in the pack. You're watching all the rest of the pack take down that cantaloupe, take down the gazelle, and then right when the juicy morsel comes to the surface, boom, you pounce. And once again, Kenneth Reniger pouncing. Take us through those last 2 laps, because that thing was insane.
Yeah, I mean, it was just I think when we caught that lap car there, he took the inside lane. That really was the force that kind of shook everything up at the front there. I think the top 2 stayed high, and I was able to dive low there with my teammate, and that was enough to get us to 2nd and 3rd. And then from there it was trying to just wait for the right time to try to get by Jonathan there. And as soon as we did that, and I got to the outside, I thought I was done. Once it looked like they kind of split me, and I was put on. I think I was almost 3 wide for a minute, and then I seen them racking out back, and it was just home from there. So.
No, when you say your teammate, who are we talking about?
That's or I would say teammate, but in we race a lot together. That's Jay Stinson.
Jay Stinson is another top riser right now.
Yeah.
Now that whole time that you saw though, Quesabeer and Bobby Dodson, those guys were connected like magnets, and you had to be excited to see at that end where those 2 guys separated. Did you really see your opening at that moment where those two fellas just looked like a force through the end, the last quarter of that race?
Yeah, I mean, we were prepared to run where we were. At least I was. A 3rd place finish because they were locked together pretty good. But yeah, once we got to that lap car, it shook everything up and allowed them the move to make out pretty good.
Yeah, that lap car did cause quite the interest. There was also another incident earlier with the lap car. We saw that 16 swerve hard to the right to avoid causing an incident. Lap car is always interesting here, but more interesting than that is Kenneth Reniger, your first driver to get multiple wins in our series. You're in the chase, and now you're doubly in the chase. You're going to be the series leader, and you got that inside track to get that regular season championship. Kenneth, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Just shout out to the league owners putting all this stuff on for us, and yeah, just and shout out to the broadcast. You guys do an amazing job.
Well, it is our pleasure when we're watching racing like that. Ladies and gentlemen, your race winner in the 24 Chevrolet, Kenneth Redinger, once again finding himself in victory lane. Zach, we just saw a heck of a show, my friend. 80 laps here at Daytona International. We had a few incidents. Looks like 13 cars finishing on the lead lap. Any final parting thoughts?
I'll tell you what, Mean Gene, this league is spoiling us. It's only 4 races in, and we've been treated to so many close, awesome races, so many storylines. I mean, and what sticks out to me in the true scheme of the league already is the speed we're seeing from certain people like Iverson, but the success that we're seeing from cars like Redinger. It just tells so many cool stories about consistency, about how races are marathons and not sprints, and about how to be successful in this particular league of MRL, about how long these races are and how important strategy is, how important patience is, and how important luck is. And not to say that was what got Renier the win today, but I'm more alluding to the unlucky stuff that's happening
Yeah.
to Tony Iverson. But this has been such a wonderful season already. I look forward to these Mondays so much. I can generally tell you guys I look forward to these things, maybe even more than I do getting to race in this awesome league. Because watching you guys do this and watching these fields grow and these incredible shows that have been put on, we are just spoiled, right?
I have to agree with you. I couldn't have said it better myself, Zach. These fellas, week in, week out, just putting on amazing shows, going for the win. The confidence level of so many of these drivers to perform those maneuvers with a high level of success is just a delight for the eye and for the viewer at home. Amazing racing once again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us here. Monday Night Mayhem, Mean Gene Money in the booth, Zach Panzarella as always, and KK in the pits. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. And as always, bottoms up and hammer down.